Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
What a day weather-wise in Regina. I'm sure it's very similar if you are in Saskatchewan, wherever you are. Thank you for making time. Let's end the week together on the Sports Cage today. However you are taking in the program, whether it's listening on 620 CKRM, which tomorrow night, it's the 100th celebration of CKRM. I'm going to be there. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the old guard from around the station here. I've only been here for 20 years. It's 100. You can listen to it on CKRM. Some of you are listening right now on the audio streams. Maybe it's your Alexa, play 620 CKRM in the Sports Cage. Or it's watching it on YouTube through sportscage.com. Curtis Gammon is with me. It's Curtis's last full day as a producer, we think, as the Colson man is supposed to be back on Monday. He's
hopefully.
I'm wondering if he's been growing a beard. For some reason, I think he might walk in with a big bushy beard. But cool, yeah, Curtis has done a great job. Curtis does ask, if you're watching on YouTube, wherever you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. Friday is for sastoday.ca. That's your local news hub, along with sportscage.com. Curtis, did you have something else on that?
No, I was just seconding you, waving my finger.
And all of our guests will join us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. That is what I am having for supper tonight with the boy, because the ladies are out of town. We're batching it. So nothing says batching it like a little pizza pie from Western Pizza. Not lasagna tonight. We're gonna go pizza pie. I'm an all dressed guy. I like pineapple on my pizza, but yeah, Western Pizza Guest Hotline is how all of our guests join us, and then you get to jump in like Randy already has. Prairieland Rentals text line. There's two ways: through the YouTube chat or 936-6262. Prairieland Rentals is special. They're locally run. You get to deal with the owner. 600 Albert Street, right past the tracks. If you need anything to rent for that job or project, and then of course, I always say, the Husqvarna dealer that's trusted in Regina. Some interesting news just came down from the Western Canadian Baseball League's Regina Red Sox. I'll read the release verbatim. The Regina Red Sox announced today that the club has parted ways with field manager Rai Pathakos. Assistant coach Braden Cobb will assume field manager duties on an interim basis for the remainder of the 2026 Western Canadian Baseball League season. And then it goes on. That is it. That's interesting.
Wow.
He is supposed to be managing the All-Star game this weekend up in Saskatoon. Does he still manage? I think Tegan's actually trying to find that out, if he's still going to be part of that. That's interesting news. We do have some alleged news and reports coming up. I didn't do this. I'll do this quick. Just going to run down the show for you. About 3:15, Paul LaPolice, former CFL coach, TSN analyst, and head coach of Canada's men's flag football team. They are they're announcing their 12-man roster next week. So a great time to get Lapo on. We will talk clothing. We will talk football with Lapo. Also in this hour, we are to be joined by Todd Liskowich, who is a member of the Peak Training Group here in Regina. I just want to find out more about hockey training and training in general for other sports, but hockey training in 2026 through the summertime, because some of the things I'm kind of involved in it a bit with the boy. Some of the stuff they do nowadays is a million times different than 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So Todd Liskowich will be in as well. Hour 2, Farhan Lalji from TSN. We'll talk a lot of CFL with Farhan. Prairie Golf Gems are back today. We will talk about the Sask Landing Golf Resort, located 30 minutes north of Swift Current, south of Kyle, Saskatchewan. If you've ever driven by it, it looks beautiful. That is Prairie Golf Gems in hour 2. We will have Luc Mullinder in hour 3. Very good odds that Luke right now is in the swimming pool because it's so hot. And then also in hour 3, we talked to the winner of the first $75,000 prize in the Rider Scratch ticket from Saskatchewan Lottery. So that is the program for SAS today in general. People are already coming in on the Prairie Land rental text line. Dylan, again, no filet of fish for supper tonight. Heather, very nice, says, take care, Curtis. Great job having you on the Sports Cage. He'll be filling in probably again at some time. It's just kind of his, how many weeks was it? 8?
8 weeks. 8 weeks of straight producing the show, which Colson does an excellent job too. So don't feel too sad that I'm gone, but I'll be in occasionally because during the rider season, we do a lot of games on like Saturdays and Sundays, and Colson also does a big part of those games. Like he'll run the board for those games. So he needs a day off occasionally, especially now that he's a new dad. So I'll fill in whenever he needs a day off. So most likely Mondays, but we'll see.
James saying, Curtis, well done. Keeping the show great on the rails. More importantly, I think he says keeping Barney grounded.
It's true.
I'm not a grounded guy. I'm grounded, ain't I? Shout out to Curtis. More shout outs coming in here to the text line. Everyone just appreciating what Curtis has done.
Thank you.
Bill says, good job, Curtis. Curtis has been very creative, and we're going to go through some of that creativity in a bit. But the other rider news that I was talking about being reported, Arash Madani reported it, and I think that it is now being reported elsewhere that the riders, Curtis, could be allegedly getting some help on the pass rush.
Ooh.
I know a lot of people have been talking about the pass rush, but apparently a guy by the name of Derek Robertson should be coming in. He has had an all-star. This is, I'm just going to try and find the message that I got here. It's he's had an all-star season, which I didn't even know was possible, to be honest with you, in the UFL.
People can't have good games or seasons in the UFL?
I didn't know it went the full season. I know it kind of came out. I knew it was originally, and it was there at the beginning. I didn't know it ended. Who won? In fact, can you look at who won this year's UFL?
That's a good question.
Who played in the final? Did the teams that play in the final start the season? Or did they just cut? Did they just pay an entry fee halfway through and end up? Derek Robertson, apparently heading to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, said Rash Madani reported it to me, reported it earlier. Robertson is fresh off an all UFL campaign with 28 pressures, 7 sacks with DC this year, set to join the Riders allegedly.
The Louisville Kings won the 2026 UFL championship by defeating the DC Defenders in the United Bowl, 27-20.
Louisville, come again, what was the team name?
Louisville Kings.
The Kings. So yeah, we'll wait. We're still waiting for the Riders to send out an official release. So nothing official until that happens. Another thing, I wouldn't mind throwing this out there. If you're listening and you're driving, maybe you're driving to or from one, let me know. I'll give a shout out to any of the baseball or fastball teams that are competing in provincials around the province. I drove by the Regina girls minor ball diamond on 9th Avenue on the way here. It is buzzing. The girls, I remember those days as a kid. I can't believe I lost a provincial final to the Regina Fighting Saints, the Pollock boys. But they're packed. There's so many parents with umbrellas because it's so hot, and just watching ball this weekend. So if you want, I'll give a shout out, 936-6262 as the show goes on, because I know there's a lot of provincials going on throughout the province. We're going to get to more. We got to go to break here, and then on the other side, we're going to be joined by Canada's flag football team, men's team, head coach Paul LaPolice. It's the Sports Cage. We are on 620 CKRM and streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Welcome back on this Friday. Sitting with Curtis for sasktoday.ca. Thank you for making some time. I talked about Western Pizza. It's a Western Pizza guest hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you just can't make at home. Visit your Western Pizza today. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Joining us, Paul LaPolice, coach of the men's flag football team for Canada. Nice to see you again, Lapo. You are looking dapper, sir.
Yes, about to get ready to go on the air in a couple of minutes and do a Sports Center hit, and then I'm in studio for all weekend.
Do you get sick of everybody talking about your clothing? I like the Western in Calgary. I like that. Then there was the shorts sport coat combo, which I didn't think of. Is that like, hey, just leave me alone with my clothes?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because actually last week I just picked up, like some new suits for the year, and it's pretty cool to go down there and get spoiled, but like, they have to show me what to wear and all that stuff, right? Like back when I was a head coach, I had like one suit. It wasn't fitted. And now it's like you're in television. You got to play it up a little bit. So I'm enjoying that part of it.
No, I like it. I like it. Okay, next week, it's a big week for the Canadian men's flag football team.
Yeah, both men's and women's next week. We're going to announce we should be announcing our roster of 12. The women's team has had 24 girls competing throughout the course of the year. We've had about 18. Basically, from starting in December, we had players down in San Diego. We did it again in March. We had our open tryouts in Winnipeg in April. And then we went down to Chula Vista again. The team just got back. Both men's and women's program were in China last week, if you can believe it. They spent a whole week. It's pretty cool for these players to get this experience. We had a friendly with China and Australia, where I believe both men's and women's went 4-0. So good training, good work, good team building. Those are the last. So now we've kind of gone through all the film. This weekend we'll be finalizing what our roster is, and what that means is we'll name a roster of 12 and 6 reserves, at least on the men's side, and those 12s will go to Dusseldorf, Germany next month to help get us the gold medal.
Has the process been more difficult than you and your staff has thought it was to get down to 12?
Year 2 is, certainly year 1 last year, we probably had that decision made pretty quickly. We pretty much knew our 12 after our ID camp, where this year we kind of knew a group of 15 that we said, hey, listen, these guys all could be in the 12. We're really talented. We had more talent this year. We invited a lot more players that maybe had less of a flag football background and maybe more of a tackle background. So they had, we had a couple guys like Daniel Peterman, former CFL football player. Now he started with us in December, so he's had a bunch of time to go compete with the other guys. So, the competition was much harder this year, at least on our side. And I'm sure Rachel has a talented crew over here on her side, the women. But, we believe we have a much better roster than 1 year ago.
Is there a reoccurring comment that you get from the guys that are coming from pro and tackle that are shifting to flag football and learning the flag football game?
2 things, I think. When we brought some people in and they got their opportunity to come train with us, one, they're unsure. They were kind of amazed at, how do we say, like just basically what shape you need to be in to play the game. 2, that, when we're going down to San Diego for a week, this is like training camp. We're going to be practicing twice a day. You better be ready to go. You better be able to run. And we take this. This is not a club anything. This is as professional as I always tell the players. We have the 9 professional football teams playing men's football, and then we're the 10th. So I think they're surprised at how talented everybody is and how serious it is. And I just do think just learning the rules of the game and just understanding this is a tackle guy in Canada, the field's 65 yards wide. Well, it's 25 yards wide in flag football. So you just got to be cautious on how you build systems and how you understand. You better sit in zones a lot sooner in flag football than you do in tackle football.
Suits was on a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that there was a friendly that went down with the United States of America that didn't probably go the way, or maybe it did. Maybe you saw what you wanted to see out of that game.
So we spent, we're in San Diego for a week training with 18 players, both, and the women's side had their crew too. But what was nice is we had a day before or 2 days before that friendly with the United States, we had a practice with the United States. So we basically played almost like a game situation with the U.S. They had their first and second group. We had our first and second. We went back and forth, and I thought that was really good reps. And obviously, they're spectacular. They're the best team in the world. And I swear to God, I think they're better than they were last year and with their last World Championship. They made some changes on defense. They're talented. They've been put together a long time, this roster of players and coaches. So, but I felt pretty good after the practices. Then on Friday night, we played a friendly in LA. It's the same tournament we beat them 1 year ago before. And, we started out 8-0. We started out beating them 8-0. We were up, and then they took it to us pretty good. I think we lost 56-16. So, made some mistakes. It's pretty hard to come by. I think we threw a pick six and had some turnovers and got behind the sticks, and you can't do that against that team.
Refresh people's memory that the Dusseldorf and going to Germany for the World Championships, the importance of that with trying to qualify for the Olympic Games.
Okay, so the United States is already qualified because they're the host city. That helps both for the men's and women's program, how successful that team has been. The men are 5-time world champions. So, you have a really good team getting one of the bids already. So the next two highest places get Olympic bids. So 3 Olympic bids are given out. 1 is already given in the U.S. 2 more bids are going to be given out August 13th through the 16th in Dusseldorf. We expect to be right there in the mix for one of those Olympic spots, both men's and women's side. If you don't qualify, then you have to go to what's called continentals, which is what last year we finished 3rd in Panama. And the top 2 teams that aren't already in the Olympics in each a continental, where there's 5 continents, then they'll pick a group of 10 teams, the top 2 in each continent, will then play in June of 2028. And you might have just seen that Montreal is hosting an Olympic qualifying flag football. That's going to be, one bid or so. There's already 3. I think 2 bids given out there. And then the last bid the following week, Orlando. So it's very important. It's going to get really difficult we would love to make sure we know where we're at. Obviously there's only 6 teams because it's an exhibition sport. They started small. We expect to be in the Olympics, but we want to get it done now. It's going to help everything for our program and make it a lot easier for us to understand. So we want to get 1st, 2nd, or 3rd and take care of business.
Yes. Do you know, is there any way for people to watch when you guys are in Germany?
Yes, I believe DAZN is covering it. DAZN, who's just coming on board with the Canadian Football League, they're going to be covering all those games. And again, we start in, I believe it's August 13th, the tournament starts. In our bracket, we play Austria and Japan first, and then we go from there. Austria's the number 2 ranked team in the world, but we feel like, we're a new program, but we feel with the talent we put together, we're going to be in one of the top programs in the world. So, coming back from playing in China, we spent a lot of time together getting this group together. Our next thing will be we get together in Montreal for a little bit, and then we travel over and we spend a week and a half almost in Germany before the games start.
I love it. I can't wait to watch that. Can I give you a couple CFL ones while we have you here?
Yeah, sure.
BC Edmonton tonight. Bigger game for BC to kind of get back in things. Is it still too early? Or for Edmonton, maybe as that measuring stick game to kind of prove to people where they are sitting at 4-1 right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's BC, understanding how talented the West is and just staying on schedule, just getting if they can get another win after a bye, getting healthy against a good football team. The Elks do a really good job of a lot of things. They take the ball away most on defense in the Canadian Football League. Obviously, they have the most explosive football player in the Canadian Football League in Justin Rankin. I think a key for the BC Lions is they put a lot of yardage up. They haven't put up as many points as previous years, but they're putting a lot of yardage up. They lead the CFL in time possession. They get first downs. If they want to play and take care of business, Nathan Rourke's got to have a lot of long drives, hold on to that football like they do, put up a ton of yards, and keep Mr. Rankin over there on the sideline and don't give him opportunities to get on the field. Because, I just think they can help themselves so much doing that. Just minimize his opportunities with touches because he's going to make somebody miss. He's going to create an explosive play. So, and Cody Fajardo does a really good job of, like a couple weeks ago, he did have a 3-interception game, but for the most part, he's not going to turn the ball over a lot. So, I think BC's got to control the line of scrimmage and I don't say control line. They just stay on the field, keep Rankin on the sideline.
And I got to ask you, you're on a Saskatchewan show. How do you rank or what do you think of our riders as we sit at the quarter pole here, the CFL season? What's impressed you?
They're built, Trevor Harris impresses you, obviously. A guy who's seen every coverage, not going to make a lot of mistakes. If you play zone, he's going to know where to throw the ball in zone. If you play man, he's going to be able to have explosive shot opportunities. And very seldomly does he have it. You get a takeaway on him. How do you pressure him? How do you get takeaways on him? So, on that scope, they have really talented receivers around him, and then they have a defense that stops people from getting in the end zone. So that's obviously a recipe to win a lot of football games like they've done.
Coach, it's always a pleasure. Can't wait. August 13th to 16th to watch a little flag football and take it in. Like you said, get it in the till. As we talk about at the golf course, get it in the till early. Then
get it done now.
Yeah, you know what's up, and obviously, best of luck to the female squad as well. Okay, thanks for doing this, Coach. Good luck with your hit with TSN, and we'll chat again.
Okay, thanks. Take care.
There he is, Paul LaPolice, head coach of Canada's men's flag football team. Also, of course, former CFL coach and on CFL on TSN. Curtis, I said this yesterday. I'm not just blowing smoke. Not that I would watch anything else tonight on a Friday evening in July. The Open doesn't start again until 11:30 in the morning, but we're kind of getting into the weekend. But this game tonight with your boy from the Rankin family, Justin, against BC, I'm very curious how this one plays out.
For sure, it's definitely one of the games to watch this week. I'm trying to remember what I did for my pick. I'm gonna go double check here. So it's Edmonton versus BC. I think, honestly, I'm going Edmonton. Edmonton's hot right now. You can't argue that. And if Rankin can get on the field, Paul LaPolice is saying get him off the field. But if he's on there, we already know what he does when he's there. So
it's coming up tonight, Friday Night Football in the CFL. It is a sports cage. We're on the home of football in Saskatchewan on 620 CKRM. Welcome back. Heavy riff there on the metal coming back. Sports Cage Friday. Curtis is with me.
Big riff kind of show.
SaskToday.ca. Can you play the guitar?
No, absolutely not. I do not play the guitar. I play a mean triangle, though. Fun fact.
You should start a Chicago cover band because I got one song where they have the triangle in it. If You Leave Me Now is the name of the song. I talked earlier this week about the only job I was ever fired from, which was Burger King, and why that happened, and it was great. But
keeps you grounded, knowing that you got fired from Burger King.
The only class I ever failed in high school, I wasn't very. I wouldn't say I wasn't good in school. I was just I didn't apply myself, to put it properly. But the only class I ever failed, this is so funny, was guitar.
You had a guitar class?
We did. I think I was gonna take band, and there was some sort of change, or you had to do something or resolve it with sports I did. And I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind learning guitar. So I went to the guitar. It wasn't my crew of friends in that class, I tell you that much. I remember it vividly. You'd pick them up, you'd go, you'd tune them. I remember not much from that class, except the teacher hated me. Mr. Brown was his name. He had awful breath, and he hated me. And grade 10 guitar.
That's tough, man.
Isn't it?
Also, guitar class being a prerequisite for band seems interesting. You know what? You know what's an instrument that I would totally learn? Steel guitar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I would definitely learn to play the steel guitar, but yeah, not a guitar
How do you
person.
how does one learn how to play the steel guitar? Do you take guitar classes? Is that a separate thing?
I'm sure you could probably take lessons, but you can also probably be self-taught. There's a lot of people that are self-teach instruments, but if you want to learn good technique, it's always nice to get lessons from certain people, get good fundamentals.
Maybe there's somebody out there in SportsCage land that knows someone that can teach Curtis how to play the steel guitar. You're not in an apartment anymore, are you?
Send me a flyer. No, I have like a regular rental unit. It's kind of like a house. Yeah.
That'd be funny if you were in an apartment and you bought a steel guitar and you just played it all the time and annoyed the crap out of your neighbors.
Yeah, windows open, just like sweet, sultry tunes in the evening.
The crying of the steel. Good. I'm very jealous. Everybody that went to Zacktop in Saskatoon, I was supposed to go with DA, who comes on and co-hosts once in a while the show. I just couldn't get away, and now I'm seeing all the videos, and I have FOMO. If this FOMO, I missed out.
Fear of missing out is what the acronym is. FOMO.
Yeah, but it's not. I already missed out, so it's fear that I missed out. Whatever you want to go there.
Regrets.
It looked like a fantastic show, and it was packed. Old SaskTel Center, little heroin beers there at some of the kiosks, the drafts. You got to watch out; those sneak up on you.
You know,
everyone knows what I'm talking about. That's had too many beer at Sask Place.
Speaking of fear of missing out, good seg, by the way. There was a kicker in Rider Nation last year that got a little bit of a bad rep for missing field goals and kind of having a bad end to his season. And that would be Brett Lawther. And, well, it's been after post CFL Week 6. He's currently leading the leaderboard for 14 out of 14 field goals made, 100% percentage, and his longest one being 51 yards.
So if you're watching the stream, you see the board there that Curtis put together. It looks fantastic. And if you're listening on the radio, we'll paint the picture for you. So, like you said, Brett Lawther, attempts 14, made 14, percentage 150. 50. You said he did miss a convert?
I think he did miss one this season.
Vincent Blanchard from Edmonton, who plays tonight, 13 of 13, 100%. Longest is 50 yards. Jose Maltos, the Maltosian one, 15 out of 16, 93.8%. 50s is longest. Sean White, 10 of 11, 90.9%. 43 yards is Sean White's longest this year. Jude McCatney, 8 and 9, Hamilton, 57. So he's the clubhouse leader for longest one.
Oh, yeah.
At 57. Then we got Alex Hale from our Saskatchewan Roughriders, 10 of 13, 76.9%, 38 yards is Hale's longest.
Yeah, that's probably the most interesting stat for Alex Hale, is that he hasn't exactly hit one from far away yet, and you could kind of see, too, that they're a little bit tentative to give him the chance sometimes, too. It's like, ooh, you miss one from that far away? It's like, maybe we just punt it. Let's not go for it. So it is interesting.
Haralahu from Toronto's 11 of 50, and that's a down year for him. 73.3. 52 is his longest. And then Sergio Castillo, 12 of 17, 70.6 yards, 56.
I think the leash is a little bit longer for Sergio. Plus, they're definitely attempting longer field goals with Sergio. So I think that stat's a little misleading. It's surprising to me. Very surprising to me because he seems automatic. Yeah. So when we were talking about it this morning, one of the fun, interesting things was that it's like, okay, let's not compare apples to oranges because with Alex Hale sitting at 76.9%, it's like, oh, what about Brett Lauther when he's having a down year? Well, Brett Lauther finished the year at 72.2%, but in comparison, his first 5 games, he was actually 82.4%. He didn't have that slump until later. So when you actually compare the two through their first 5 games, Brett Lauther was a little bit more accurate, 14 out of 17, 82.4%. And then Alex Hale's at 10 out of 13 with a 76.9%. And longest being 38. And then Brett Lauther's longest being 53. And then I also got the converts because that's another important one because, yes, Alex Hale has missed some converts. He's missed 2, and Brett Lauther missed 1 out of his first 5 games in the 2025 season.
That's a lot of stats coming at people, but you did a great job. Like, can you leave that last one up a bit because if people are watching the stream, like that's a well done graphic, my man. That looks really good.
Thank you.
Now, you know what would be an interesting one? We could have talked about this morning. If we went back to Brett Lauther's first ever career year and see what he was after 5 games.
I think he had a pretty good first year. I'd have to double check the stats, but I got the numbers actually for the converts. 13 out of 14 in his first 5 games in 2025, and Alex Hale is 16 out of 18 for the first 5 games here on converts.
Dylan, that's a funny comment. I'm not going to read it. Yeah, Brett Lauther can score more goals. He's a heck of a hockey player, but Alex Hale can surf.
It's true.
There's
from down under.
There's a useless stat for everyone. No, it's you did a great job there. Yeah, I would say that 95, while we're throwing out stats and numbers and making everybody's head hurt and get a nosebleed, I would say 95% of people listening to the show right now are happy for Brett Lauther.
Yes, that is probably the biggest thing is love to see him be successful with Ottawa because he was definitely getting in a little bit grinded down from the media here near the end of the season. And didn't want to harp on a guy when he was down, Like,
speaking of a great instrument,
harping. Yeah. So, kudos where it's due, right? He's having a fantastic start to the season in Ottawa, and if he keeps it up, he might be the most accurate kicker in the league
with a team that isn't very good.
Yeah.
As well. Him and Gino Lewis probably looking around going, Come on here, guys. Yeah, no, there's a little talk there. Kicking in the CFL. Curtis, another fantastic job on that. Okay, we're gonna go to break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk training. Yeah, any of you out there ever played hockey back in the day and you trained? What did you do? 936-6262. We're gonna talk to Todd Liskowich. It is the Sports Cage. We're on 100-year-old 620 CKRM. Some good text messages coming in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. We're going to get to a few of those. Some talking music, some talking off-season training, some talking kicking, others talking just football in general. You can have your say 936-6262. Curtis is with me. We're in hour 1 here for sastoday.ca. Western Pizza Speaking of training in the off season, nothing says training in the off season like a nice wheel on a Friday evening, maybe a couple of cold ones for me. Todd Liskowich is joining us. Todd, my diet and then what you got going on there at Peak ain't the same thing. But Peak Hockey and Fitness, Todd, let's get into it. There's been some changes there. You guys are located in Regina. Take us through kind of what's changed in the last year, the last few months at Peak.
Yeah, well, first of all, Barney, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. And just before I forget, it's never too late, right? You know, we do have adult programs for you. It's never too late. You always want to keep the dream alive. No, we've definitely had some changes. Peak's been in existence for about 13 years now, and our recent ownership group has really been a great addition to the program, and everything starts at the top for sure. So we've got a great ownership group, and then from there we go into our staff, and we feel we have probably some of the best coaches that are available in Saskatchewan for sure. Locally, definitely. Dave Struch and Todd Johnson's both have extensive years of experience in Western Hockey League, CIS, International. So then we move into our facility. Deanna Wells is also our performance training coach, which she works with the Pats as well. So she's got a ton of experience. So I guess the difference for us is our staff is full time. This is what we do 12 months of the year. There's a ton of experience. And then with the new ownership group, we've been able to make some changes in our facility. So we're located at the Cooperators, and we've been there since 2013, and we've got a pretty good location. Cooperators have been great to deal with, and we've been able to expand this year. So we added an extra over 2,000 square feet of shooting and more gym space. And then, of course, with the addition of Deanna, we've increased our gym equipment. So our facility is, I've been there since day one, so I always thought it was sort of a state of the art for Western Canada, and I think we've even stepped it up another notch. And being located in the 6 rinks is very convenient. Obviously, it allows us to do the on ice, off ice. So we're fortunate enough to have a great facility for sure.
Off-season training, like I remember, it was late, and with plyometrics, it's like, what is this? Sure, I'll try it. Crushing Ultimate Orange, but you're still, you're going to the gym and you're hitting the pec deck, and your buddies are trying to like do as much bench as you can, and maybe some leg squats and all that. But what's changed in that? And you said you've been there from day one, but you've been in hockey your whole life as well. Like, let's maybe go the last 10 years, 15, whatever. How has training changed for hockey players?
Well, I think it starts with the game. I mean, the game has changed, right? I mean, players need to be more dynamic. Players need to play all positions. Defensemen need to skate more than backwards, sort of scenario, right? Like that was the key thing. So with the game changing, players need to be more dynamic. There's more emphasis. Like, for example, for you probably, would have been a guy that set the bench press record back in the day, whereas now the bulk isn't the best thing right now. Now we want mobility, agility. We want to be able to, change directions. Like if you look at a guy like Cale Makar and watch him play, he's dynamic in his mobility and agility. So that all stems back to the off-ice training. So you have to be more fit, more mobile, and that is where the training's gone. So there's less bulk, more speed, more agility, more mobility, being more of a dynamic player. And multi-sport athletes are probably our best athletes, there's no question. But with the increase in training for various sports, athletes are definitely picking a one sport a lot earlier. So our training has changed in the off season. And actually, back in the day when you played, you didn't train during the season either. And that's another thing that's changed. We have teams that come in regularly, like, we have our main teams, Pac Canadians, the Rebels. They come in and they train weekly during the season. And of course, it's less weight. It's more stretching, plyometrics, that type of thing, agility, keeping loose. Kids tend to not stretch. So obviously that's a big emphasis in being mobile for that and being flexible so that it prevents injuries. So the game's changed, which has changed the training for sure. Now the on ice training is it's not as much changed, but obviously our focus is on the ability to read and react, read situations, be less robotic, understand why you're doing what you're doing so that you can read and react properly, support, the player without the puck is often the most important player, that type of thing. So there's the mental aspect of learning the game too that we try to emphasize too. But for sure, training has changed because the game has definitely become more mobile for sure.
At what age do you say, okay, maybe your kid, should start some sort of training? Because there's probably an age where it's like, nah, they're too young. Boy, girl, doesn't matter, whatever.
Yeah, I think like our programs start. I mean, if we go from top to bottom, we have a male and female pro program, and it goes all the way down to a U9. But our U9, U11, it's a lot more sort of universal. The U13 gets into a little bit more gym stuff. So I'd say, second year U13, first year U15, both on the male and female side. That's where we see a lot more of an increase, where players have decided what avenue they want to pursue or what they want to try to, where they want to improve on and pursue. So that's probably our biggest influx of age. And then we tailor it accordingly too, right? Because there's all levels of interest, right? So I would say, if it varies from sport to sport, obviously different sports are different ages, but I would say hockey, our primary really is where people really start getting interested and getting hungry for more, I would say, is probably that U13 age, and then into U15, they're really dialed.
Small groups, and I know I've heard this in different aspects. Like, small groups are important on ice and training as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that Dave Struch has really brought into our fold and pushed. And there's a couple of reasons that are really key. Is obviously with a smaller group, for us to be able to talk and work with the kids, a smaller group allows us to connect. And I think back in the day, I think Dave King's one of his best lines was, you got to connect before you can correct. So the small group atmosphere allows us to actually work with the kids and know them. And, and Deanna does that in the gym very well, where she can adjust accordingly to what each kid, where they're at, where their diet's at, that type of thing. So the small group allows more attention to detail for that. And essentially that's what we want. We want to be able to focus in on that individual detail. So small groups are really good for that. On ice, it's the same thing. We can work with the player individually. We can work. And then on the plus side, obviously with the smaller group, kids aren't standing around on the ice. They're getting more reps. They're getting a bigger bang, for their session. So that's really important.
What's the furthest that you have kids come in weekly, like to drive in to be able to train with you guys?
Well, in the summer, we definitely, right now we have there's a small group that comes out of Swift Current. There's kids that come out of Yorkton, Estevan, Moosomin. We have some Saskatoon kids, Davidson, Humboldt. Yeah, they put the miles on. Do
you guys still have? I remember saying, do you guys still have the skating treadmill?
Yes.
What's that used for? Like, what's the benefits in that?
Well, I've got you slotted in for Tuesday at 4:15.
Right on. So tarpless. Here we go.
Yeah.
In jeans.
Well,
in jeans.
Tarpless. Yeah, tarpless and jeans. Yeah, the skating treadmill. So skating treadmills have been around for a long time, and there's no question. For us, when we brought it in back in 2013, it's a tool. It's not a magic ticket, but it's a tool, and it's a really good corrective tool where you can isolate a player's stride. You can isolate their mechanics, and it's a really good corrective tool. We don't use it as a cardio. We use it strictly to teach. And then, of course, by the time you're done your session, it's a cardio session. But it's really good for analysis on stride, angle, weight distribution, edge control. And then, of course, the biggest thing is the recovery. So if your retraction speed is improving, your speed's improving. So it's a great tool. And the nice thing I like about it is that it's good for all ages. We have a wide range on it. And It's a workout, but it's very beneficial.
Okay. Todd, thanks so much for doing this today. When I come on Tuesday, make sure you have a pec deck. We want the old pec deck, and then I like to hit the stair climber as well. Old school. Old school
Yeah,
stuff.
you might want to shed the jeans, but tarps off's okay.
Okay. Thanks for doing this. Right on.
You bet. Thanks for having us.
See you around. There he is, Todd Liskowich from Peak Hockey and Fitness, peakhockeysas.com. Very cool. And some of the videos online they have there, joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
Interesting news from the Regina Red Sox. They announced that the club has parted ways with field manager Ry Pathakos. Assistant coach Braden Cobb will assume field manager duties on an interim basis for the remainder of the 2026 Western Canadian Baseball League season. Some reports that the Riders are bringing in a pass rusher in Derek Robertson, who was playing for DC in the UFL. At the Open, Lucas Herbert went off today. He's -8, leading Jackson Suber, Cameron Young, Ryan Gerard, all at -6. Canadian Football League, Week 7 tonight. BC Lions, Edmonton Elks, 7 p.m. kickoff. The Red Sox are hosting the Lethbridge Bulls. Moose Jaw welcomes Energy City. Swift Current plays host to Fort McMurray. And Weyburn has Brooks in town. The Blue Jays are back playing hardball tonight, 5:15 on the south side. Chicago White Sox. Is it south side there? I think it is. Chicago White Sox. It's the lesser of the parks in Chicago. Anyway, sports ticker for Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together for $1.20 a day. Hour 2 is coming up. Farhan Lalji, Prairie Golf Gems, and more. It's a Sports Cage. We'll be back. Welcome back inside the Sports Cage for SAS today on this Friday, getting you into the weekend. Curtis Gammon is with me still to join us in this hour. Farhan Lalji. In about 5 minutes' time, we'll get Farhan on. Lots of fastball and baseball provincials going on across the province. I know it's a little too early for the clutch performer, but the Saskatchewan Amateur Golf Championships wrapped up in Kenosee yesterday. There was a course record. Connor Sissons from Saskatoon shot 63. Oh, that is a number. That is a number. We'll run down some of those, excuse me, after the break with Clutch Performer. Now, Curtis, watching the Open this morning, and I got a lot of sprinkles on. I'm debating sprinkle of the day here, and can we do it? Let's do sprinkle of the day right now. Sports Select, sportselect.com. But I'm gonna talk off the board too. I'll go Sports Select first for the CFL game tonight. 936-6262. I don't know if the Rochdale Rocket Benny is listening today, but the Sports Select line, Edmonton, BC. At BC's 260, Edmonton on the pro line's 205. The tie, so that means a 3-point ball game, pays 330. You know I'm a sucker for those ties. Right now the point spread, Edmonton -2.5. BC, you take 2.5, you pay 180. I think you're better off taking the tie and the pro line if you're going to go that route, to be honest with you. And then the over-under. Now this is where it gets kinky.
The Wild Wild West set at 60.5.
That's a good number. They know what they're doing. What thoughts? Initial thoughts, Curtis?
Well, whenever I see where the over-under's set, I always like to see what these teams have put up in the first couple weeks.
Well, you know the other thing you should look at? Weather. I'll look that up. You go to the other one.
So, obviously last week, Edmonton put the beat down on Ottawa, and they put up 40 points on their own. Ottawa put up 17, so that would have been an under game despite putting up 40 points with the line set at 60.5. And then on the flip side, we got BC, and BC Well, actually, their last game was against Edmonton. The last time they played was against Edmonton in Week 5, and it was 36-24.
So the last time these two teams they played, they're at 60.
60 on the dot.
The weather's awesome tonight. 30 degrees. Back sweat central, Commonwealth Stadium. So there's not a problem there. I'm going to say over.
You're going to say over. I'm going to say under. I think it's going to be close. Like, I think it's going to be pretty close. It's going to be like a 60-point game or like a 58-point game, but I think it's going to be under.
sportselect.com. Make your picks. Generate QR code online, and then take it to your Lotto Spot retailer, and they scan it. Or you can make the pick still at your Lotto Spot retailer. Every bet is 100% legal. Chance of winning cash in hand. The original Sports Select. Okay, now I'll go to some of the props because there wasn't any props on that one. So I'll go somewhere else here, unnamed, for props. And you want to go passing props. Okay, obviously, Mr. Rourke can sling it. Over 330 yards. I'm leaning towards over. I'm leaning towards over. Cody Fajardo, 298. I'm kind of leaning over there as well. Rushing props, what is the Rankin family set at? 138.5.
That's a crazy line to have it set at. That is insane.
You think he's over that?
138? I don't know, man. Like, he's been putting up good numbers, but like, I feel like setting the line at 138 is crazy. Like, a lot of the time, the rushing lines are set closer to 80.
It's sorry. I screwed that up. It says rushing and receiving. No, that's rushing. That's rushing.
Rushing yards, 138. Okay, same thing. I feel like I need to like check the game log here and see what Justin Rankin's been doing.
I think it's like BC's defense, where last time, how many did he rush against BC?
Last time against BC, he didn't play very much. 19 yards. 19 rushing yards.
What?
Unless the stats are screwed up here. Because like on the CFL website here, it says that against Ottawa, he went for 102. Against Montreal, he went for 179 rushing yards. And then Winnipeg, 106. And then Ottawa, 107. But yeah, it says against BC, 19. That seems
okay. This is more that was rushing and receiving. Here, I got the rushing yards over 195. Sorry, 95.
95. Okay. Yeah.
91 on this other one. 91 and a half.
I would say over. He's been consistently doing over 100 yards for rushing, minus the one game, but
I feel like I just butchered that. Anyway, 91 and a half. Yeah. I don't know if I want to touch that one, to be honest with you, but I like the passing over. I think the game is going to be over. As far as the outcome, I go back to Sports Select, and I think I take a 3-point game. I think a tie.
Take a tie. You know what? You might be right. Like I said, it was going to be like a 58-point game. I could see it being a tie.
Close. It could be a close one tonight. Text line looks like Russell is saying over. Take the Russ. A lot of the games have been under. Some of the games have been under lately. So, yeah. Charlene says there's no way they keep Rankin to under 91 and a half yards. So, okay. I'll keep reading the text messages as we go. Let's go to break, and then we'll come back with our weekly segment with our football insider, Farhan Lalji. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
It's time to get the inside story. TSN's Farhan Lalji on Sports Cage is brought to you by the Cooperators. Time to get financially fit? Cooperators can build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
All right. How did the trip end up? How was Princeton?
It was awesome. We went to on this last trip. We went to 4 different Ivy League schools, and then we also went to another school, Lehigh, about an hour outside of Philadelphia. And Princeton was fantastic. 5 of the Ivy League schools are in the city, and then 3 of them are like way out in the country. And Princeton, I think, is kind of the perfect mix. Like spectacular campus where you feel like a college town, but then you're kind of close enough to big city amenities. So I think it's awesome. I hope my son strongly considers going there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have a piece of paper from one of those things. You can kind of go anywhere you want. Okay, CFL talk here. Had Paul LaPolice on in the first hour, talked a little flag football, and then some CFL. Measuring stick game tonight for Edmonton, BC, desperate to get back in the win column. How are you handicapping this one tonight?
Yeah, look, I think it's, when you look at this game, for the Lions, they need the win, standings-wise, right? I mean, they're sitting there only at 1 win, and whether they've got Nathan Rourke or not, like you don't just say those 3 losses they've had didn't happen. You've got to go out and win some games. So they've got to try to go back-to-back here and do what they did last week. So it matters for them standings-wise to get some traction. For Edmonton, they haven't beaten BC in a long time. I think they've lost 13 of the last 14. I think it's been 7 straight with Nathan Rourke at quarterback. Like, it's been a while. Like, Nathan Rourke hasn't lost to Edmonton. So, I'm sure that those numbers are on Edmonton's wall. They're going to have a better crowd tonight. They've had some weather issues, and then the last crowd was better, but not great. I think they're going to get a pretty solid crowd tonight, so they're going to want to keep bringing those fans back, which means finding a way to win home games. And, Edmonton is 4-1, but they've also, 2 of their wins were against Ottawa, and they were probably a little bit fortunate to win that Montreal game. So I think they want to continue to prove that their record and their improvement is for real.
Is there pressure on the Lions yet, or is it still too early?
Well, I think there has to be, right? Because the West is so competitive top to bottom, right? I mean, when you look at it, you could see early on in most years Edmonton was going to be really bad or that Calgary was going to be bad. And whereas now, I can tell you right now, there's going to be a crossover, right? Like Ottawa and Hamilton are going to be, like Hamilton without Bo Levi Mitchell is going to fall off a cliff. They're going to just lose, and those 2 teams are going to struggle. So there's going to be a crossover, but it's going to be hard to get a crossover spot because the West is so darn competitive top to bottom. So BC can't fall out of range here.
Most important guy that BC's getting back?
Ooh, it's a good question. I'm going to say TJ Lee. And I liked what their secondary did in the last game without him, but now they're slowly starting to get a little bit more experienced as a group. Some of their young guys are coming of age. They've kind of found this guy, Stanley Thomas Oliver, that might be a guy for them at corner. And slowly it's starting to kind of work itself together. So getting TJ back, I think is a positive thing for them. I think Levi Bell will add to their pass rush. But, Ben Haladic, the guy that replaced him last week, Parker McKenna, the young American, a lot of people are calling him Adam Big Hill 2.0. So I think he's still listed as a starter and is going to be pretty good there. And but yeah, I think those two, TJ Lee first, Levi Bell second, are the 2 most important guys for them.
There are some reports that came down just around noon that the Saskatchewan Roughriders are bringing in a pass rusher and Derek Robertson from DC of the UHL. Know nothing about him, know nothing about DC in the UFL. But Farhan, are we going to maybe see teams kind of starting to bring these guys in? I'm trying to remember, have we seen a massive influx after the UFL season of guys coming north?
I think it'll be spotty, right? I think if you need something specific, you may look there to potentially go get it. But understand, the player that's going to come up here was not deemed good enough to sign by an NFL team, right? So it's not like you're going to get the best of the best that's going to come here and make an instant impact. The Lions, I mentioned Levi Bell, played in the UFL last year, and then the Lions got him late, and he was a bit of a spark plug for them. But I don't know that that's the norm. I think it's kind of depth guys you're going to not necessarily plug and play, but you're going to need a few weeks to get them into your practices and see exactly what you've got. It's not like, the old days where the NFL had all their roster cuts and then the airlifts would come. It's not going to be like that in the UFL.
What do you think of that Riders Hamilton game last weekend?
Well, I think it was predictable, right? I mean, Hamilton without Bo Levi Mitchell is an entirely different football team, and that's just the way it's going to be. Like, I'm curious to see what's going to happen there. Big picture of Harrison Frost, who's been with them for a couple of years, is going to come in and in 2 to 3 weeks is going to all of a sudden be their starting quarterback, because I don't believe they're going to be able to consistently win football games with Jake Dolegala and Trey Ford. I just don't. So, it's what Saskatchewan did last week was, I went 3-1 last week in my picks, and that was by far the game I spent the least amount of time digesting. Check, Sask, done.
If that happens, would Dolegala or Ford be available for anyone else? Maybe, right? I mean, they've also got Jared Dagey they brought in. And I don't know that he's going to be anybody's answer as a starting quarterback, but if they think he's better than one of the others, maybe. It's going to be a lost season for Hamilton without Bo. It just is. I don't know that any of those guys is going to come in and turn things around for that franchise, and they need big time quarterback play. And you're going to see Keandre Smith and Kenny Lawler slowly kind of work their way down the receiving depth chart, just because you got to have someone to get him the ball, and I just don't think that guy's in the building that can do it on a consistent basis. So it'll be tough. They're not up against a gangbuster. It's Ottawa, but still Drew Brown for Hamilton or for Winnipeg looked good last week. What kind of team is Winnipeg with Drew Brown at the helm?
A lot of people, first of all, I'm a big Zach Collaros fan. And this, in my opinion, as soon as he gets back next week, and I'm assuming it'll be next week, that Zach Collaros will be the starting quarterback, because that's just how Mike O'Shea rolls. Loyalty, veterans, guys that know his culture, his system, all of it, that's what he wants. Even though Drew Brown had been there previously, he's not going to get treated the same way. This is Zach's team. And I think eventually we're going to get the best of Zach. But a lot of people tell me that last week was the best version of Winnipeg's offense they've seen. Now, the one thing I saw from Drew Brown is he got the ball out of his hands very quickly. He had a pretty good scope of the defense and got it out now. Zach wants to let plays progress. He wants to read them out and play them out. And I think he and Tommy Condell are on such a same wavelength, same page that that's just going to continue, right? Whereas I think they simplified a lot of things for Drew, given the lack of practice time that he had, and he just got the ball out quick. So you could look at that and say it was decisive, but I think it was by design. So let's see what happens here, because certainly he's going to be motivated to play Ottawa, but Ottawa is also going to be motivated to face him, and they're probably going to feel like they know what he does good and bad, and that they might be able to take advantage of some things. So I don't think this is going to be Ottawa rolling over here and Winnipeg winning by a big number.
That's a good point. There's always two sides to it, for sure. Kay, we kind of talked about this yesterday on the show. Curious to get your take. What CFL team is best situated if their starter goes down with their number 2?
What CFL team is best situated with their starter? Edmonton. Edmonton, because Taylor Powell's their next guy. Hey, first of all, let's take that back. Winnipeg, because their starter's already gone down, and Drew Brown has been an established starter in this league. So Winnipeg is the best team, and they're showing it with what we saw last week. 29 of 35 for 339. That's pretty good coming off the bench. I think that's really good. But I think that's the obvious answer, right? So I think after that, I think Saskatchewan's got 2 good quarterbacks in Cone and Schrader, right? That can potentially give them some help. But again, they haven't necessarily proven themselves as starters. I like Taylor Powell. I think he's had enough mileage. I think he looked very good for them in training camp and in the preseason. And Cody Fajardo, who's doing great. Like I've always said, Cody Fajardo is a high floor, low ceiling player, right? I think Taylor Powell can get to Cody's floor very quickly if Cody happens to go down.
Our TSN football insider Farhan Lalji is with us for the Cooperators. Is this the best crop of Canadian receivers that we've ever seen in the CFL?
Heck yeah. They're so good. And I, like I mentioned, Keandre Smith, I feel for him because he's not going to get to show just how good he is. But absolutely. When you look at what Saskatchewan's got, Kean Schaefer-Baker's been unbelievable. We know how good Sam Emilus is when he's healthy. They've got depth there, Del Duck and Busby and others. You've got guys, in BC with Justin McInnes and Javon Catoy when he gets back healthy. And they're starting 3 even without Javon Catoy. Nick Senecal has been just a find for them. Obviously, the Philpotts. We know what Tyson has done in Montreal, between him and Justin Rankin. Those are my 2 MVP front runners right away. way. But the other thing, Barney, is that they're getting opportunity, right? What we're seeing now is we're seeing roster construction different because there's such a premium on offensive linemen, Canadian offensive linemen. You saw what Coach Woodmansey got signing with Edmonton, and he's never been an all-star. Right, $300,000. It's wild. So what you need to do is you need to find different ways to build your offensive line. And the Canadian receiver, the elite Canadian receiver, is allowing them to do that. Like, you're not going to find better receivers in this league than Philpott. Like, you just aren't. I don't care what your nationality is. I don't care if you're Kenny Lawler. I don't care if you're Keon Hatcher. But Tyson Philpott is every bit as good as those two guys. And so is Kean Schaefer-Baker and others. So elite Canadian receivers that are better trained at a younger age and are now getting an opportunity to play closer to the football than that field side Z that we used to see all the time that was a token position because teams are playing with 4 Canadian offensive linemen.
Okay, so roughly at the quarter pole of the CFL season, what team are we maybe not talking about right now, but you think we're going to be talking about more come, like, let's say October?
The team that you're talking about plenty is the team the league's not talking about enough, and that's Saskatchewan. And I say that because, I expected them to take a step back because of the number of changes that they had. They haven't taken a step back. Like, they are really good, and they're still figuring out their pass rush. But the other ends of that team have allowed, that piece to elevate. And I just think that Corey Mace hasn't playing at a real high level. There's no Grey Cup hangover. They used so much depth last year, especially on the offensive side. We talked about the 9 receivers that they had last year, and now they've lost pieces, but they still have enough, right? Because those, you can lose Joe Robustelli and Adjoa Joe, and you're still really good at receiver. So I think league-wide, they're probably not talking about Sask enough, and they should be because they are really, really good. I know you talk about them every day, though.
Yeah, every hour. Okay, what the World Cup is gone? Excuse me, moved out from Vancouver. What is it like there right now? What's the legacy of the event that was there for the month?
I think it just showed Vancouver and its colors and its passion for sports and its passion for culture and just the vibe from every country that came in here. I think we saw the best of Vancouver. It was like the Olympics times 10, the Olympics on steroids. It was such a great time, and it's still going because you're still going to see great scenes at the Fan Fest and in other locations for watch parties for the World Cup final on Sunday. But for those games that were here at BC Place, it was absolutely fantastic, and it showed the best of the city, showed the best of the country.
I have FOMO for sure. Anything new on the Canucks?
Not really. They're still talking about trades. They're still looking at potentially moving on from Elias Pettersson, Jake DeBrusk, and I don't know that there's any more names in that are necessarily going to be front and center. Thatcher Demko's got to reestablish himself as healthy. They just hired a coach for their minor league affiliate, so they're kind of filling in the gaps organizationally. But the 2 big moves that may or may not happen this offseason, Jake DeBrusk and Elias Pettersson, are still front and center. But gosh, we've heard Pettersson's name at the deadline for the last 2 years now, and literally every day for the last 2 years in terms of his future. So let's just, I want to say let's just get to training camp, but let's not. Let's just enjoy the CFL and not have to think about hockey until we get to, many months from now. You know me, I'm a football guy, buddy.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to my NFL training camp. In a couple of weeks, I'll be talking to you from Denver or Kansas City or LA or San Francisco. I'm excited about that, not hockey.
Okay, you said you were a stud with your picks, but what do you think about tonight's over-under in Edmonton, 60.5?
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I can take it. I think Nathan Rourke's doing some really good things offensively. BC showed some really positive steps last week, and BC's defense still has something to prove, right? They looked good last week, but can they stop Justin Rankin on back-to-back weeks? The one thing Edmonton is doing is, they're finding lots of different ways to generate points. It's not just on the offensive side of the ball. So if, BC can keep the turnovers down, then maybe that 60 number is high. But, both offenses got to feel pretty good about themselves. I think if you're Edmonton, you just don't believe BC's going to be able to do this 2 weeks in a row. Yeah,
I'm taking the over. I hit 4 of 5.
Yeah,
I hit 4 of 5. If you want to pat backs, I hit 4 of 5 in the Riders Hamilton game, and probably the most successful CFL game I've ever had. The main one an anytime defensive touchdown for the Riders. Those
Are you allowed
nice.
to tell me what you won?
No, I'm not.
'Cause you
Never tell.
have all these vacations you need to spend it on.
Never tell. Never tell. Maybe those vacations are gambling vacations. Maybe it's all work.
They might be.
It's all the side hustle.
But that means you're getting free rooms and free drinks and everything at these big time casinos. I know you.
Oh yeah, and a porterhouse. There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, have a good weekend. Very intriguing tonight, and then we'll catch up next week, my man.
Take care. Have a good one.
There he is, our TSN football insider, Farhan Lalji, joining us. I like the over. It's for the cooperators all the time. The cooperators, time to get financially fit. Visit the cooperators, and they can help you out. All right, Curtis. It's too bad. We got on the TV station here in the studio, there's some sort of boxing / UFC that looks like it's tier 4, whatever that. This could be happening at the Eagles Club right now in Regina, whatever we're watching here.
It was there was not the channel that you wanted on, so I found Legacy Fighting channel. So this is an old fight that you're watching right now. You could probably Google the results if you wanted to.
Kind of sprinkled on. Okay, let's go to break. When we come back, we got Clutch Performer. We're going to navigate our way through a very interesting final round of the Saskatchewan Amateur Golf Championships. A youngster out of Pilot Butte making noise. It's a Sports Cage. We'll be back in a moment.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Okay, Saskatchewan Amateur Golf Championships. Sharky and I talked about this yesterday. Going on at Golf Kenosi today. Grace Odnicon won the Saskatchewan Women's. Alex Schmidt from Regina finished second. Now, the Odnicon story is very interesting as Grace joins her mom, Carla, on the championship trophy, the first mother-daughter tandem to win the provincial amateur championships. So her mother won it back in the day. How about that day for Connor Sissons yesterday, shooting a 63, smashing the course record at Golf Kenosi. On the men's side today, though, amateur men's. It's a big deal. It's a big tournament. Played in it a couple times back in the day. This 15-year-old Austin Nesbitt of Pilot Butte, Saskatchewan, plays at the Wascana Country Club, shot a 70 to win by one shot over Drejan Sparvier out of Regina. 15 years old, Austin Nesbitt. Congratulations to you winning the Saskatchewan Men's Amateur Golf Championship. He is our clutch performer for Keln Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. You're thinking solar? Call them. Family-run business. They'll come out, give you a quote, let you know if it's possible, how you can save money, and also get you hooked up. If you have a livestock operation, they should be the place you're calling coming up here for the fall time. Keln Solar, find them online. Did you have one? Sorry, Curtis. Sorry, buddy.
Oh,
I didn't see you there. Tucked in.
My
I
goodness.
thought you were already gone. I thought you were already checked out from your 8 weeks.
1 foot out the door already. I don't have anyone that would be good. Maybe Brett Lawther for leading the league and field goals made thus far. Shout out Brett Lawther, clutch performer for me.
Yeah, there it is again. If you didn't catch it in hour 1 and you're watching the stream, Brett Lawther leads the CFL, while Blanchard from Edmonton, who plays tonight.
Well, he's 13 for 13, so he's made one more. That's still leading.
And Lawther's longest, 51 on the season. 100% field goals.
Money.
Let's there were some people on the text line. Jason said earlier somewhere down here being about just happy for Brett Lawther, and I said, yeah, the majority of people would be for sure. I know some people were going at Dylan on the text line of saying, "Can we get Jonathan Kim, please?" Now, Kim's raw too. I don't think he'd be 100%.
Kim's not bad.
There's nothing. We don't know. Where's the tape of regular season games for him? In it really being in the pressure cooker, really being in a game. We don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, he had a good showing in the preseason for sure, but it's just a roster thing that it really comes down to, because if you have the global, you can do the designated American. So you got to do some shuffling around if you're going to have an American kicker, and that's just what it comes down to, because who is the next global on the roster if it's not Alex Hale, right? So they made their choice there. You kind of have to, unless you can find someone to like shuffle things around, then like it's kind of what you picked. You kind of have to go with it.
Get Prairie Golf Gems queued up here, but we got a text message. I got to say, Ben, I wasn't sure if he was lifting. He's probably lifting, listening today. But Benny, Rochdale Rocket, just sent me on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 600 Albert Street. The number is 936-6262. His Sports Select tickets today. He just getting back from his Lotto Spot retailer. Now, Benny, I appreciate this, but I have no idea. He's taking Cavalry FC. Soccer, obviously. They are playing, I can't even read who they're playing. But then these CFL games, he's got the Hamilton Tiger Cats over the Toronto Argonauts.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, Benny.
Ooh. And then he has the tie, like I like, the 3-point game tonight, BC and the Edmonton Elks. On another ticket, he's taking the Lions. He's taking Quebec in a soccer game. And then he's taking Montreal over the Calgary Stampeders outright. That makes sense. There you go. You can let me know if you're sprinkling out there, 936-6262. We were talking golf. Sask Amateur wrapping up. And Kenosha, let's keep the golf chat going with another installment of Prairie Golf Gems. It is another installment of Prairie Golf Gems, brought to you by Flooring Superstore in Regina, servicing all of southern Saskatchewan. Trent Dickin and his team, 20 years in the business. Anything, flooring, outside, inside, it doesn't matter. They can help you out. Cash and carry prices, tough to beat. And if you don't want to do it yourself, they have contractors that can do it for you. And also Cooper Tires. North America, you're visiting your tire dealer, ask for Cooper Tires, whether it's spring, summer, all season, or down the road, winter. Cooper Tires. Okay, Crystal Imrie joining us from the Saskatchewan Landing Golf Course. This is one that gets talked about a lot, and people drive by it. Some people have played it. Crystal, first off, thanks for doing this. How do you describe the Sask Landing Golf Course to people that maybe have never been there?
Well, we're definitely known for our scenic views, the well-maintained course, and just a very welcoming atmosphere.
Take me through the history, because I remember it way back. I was driving that highway a lot back in the day. I saw them building the golf course, like the history of the course.
Yeah, for sure. We are located in the Saskatchewan Landing Provincial Park, right along Lake Diefenbaker. We are a beautiful 18-hole course, about 30 minutes south of Swift Current. We were founded and funded through the effort of local residents from Elrose, Kyle, and Swift Current area. In the beginning, money was raised through the sale of shares, which was quite successful, as enough money was raised to get the course built. Operating a golf course within a provincial park was very new at the time, but with the partnerships formed between the original executive members and the park, the partnership has continued to be very, very successful. So that first round of golf we had here was held in late October of 2001 on the first completed 9 holes, which is currently now our back 9. The following year was the first full season in 2002, which means next year in 2027 we'll be celebrating 25 years of the Saskatchewan Landing Golf Resort.
Jeez, that is really cool how time flies. When I looking at the website, sasklandinggolfresort.com, like you said, some great views. If you had to say signature hole or signature holes, what would those be?
Well, one of our signature features is the incredible scenery throughout the course. Several holes offer beautiful views of Lake Diefenbaker and the surrounding hills. We've had, like you said, people drive by and actually stop in and ask if they can get on and play 9 or 18 holes. They often tell us it's one of the most scenic courses they've played in Saskatchewan, and every player seems to have a favorite hole once they've played the course. One of my favorites is hole 15, which is located at the top of one of our rolling hills, and it looks over the shores of Lake Diefenbaker, which is a breathtaking view. And that's kind of what makes our course unique in Saskatchewan, where we have elevation changes and open views. We're more of a link-style course with very few trees. The other favorites are hole 17 and 18, which feature a narrow fairway and run right along Lake Diefenbaker, so there's water and play to your right on both holes.
Jeez, that sounds right. Like you said, looking at these pictures, busy times. This could be a real dumb question, but is the summer, I'm sure, is busy with the parks. Is it kind of every day, the weekends more? What can we tell people about that?
Well, yeah, like every course, once school lets out and the weather warms up, we get busier. Our peak season is July and August. Our busiest times are Friday through Monday, because that's when, people are visiting the park, and we run our own private campground as well. Mondays are especially popular because we have a $2 a hole special.
Oh.
So that means you can play 9 holes with half a cart for $20.
Wow. Is it in walking the course? Is it walkable?
It's walkable, but it's challenging.
Because of the elevation changes?
Yeah, and we have, I would suggest mornings when it's a little cooler, but our mornings actually fill up quite quickly, so we always encourage golfers to book ahead if they have a preferred time. You
talked about the special, the $2 a hole. Anything, what else can you tell us about rates, maybe for seniors, regular players, juniors as well?
Yeah, we have a list of all of our various rates on our website, but generally 18 holes with half a cart will cost you $69.
Wow. And what about a junior? I know there's a lot of people that like to take kids out there and juniors.
Yes, we have junior rates. 12 and under is actually free. So, it's a great course. It's a challenging course for an experienced golfer, but it's not so challenging that just the average recreational golfer would have fun. So it's a nice family course too.
And if people are going to come out, but they want to stay in the area, maybe they don't have a camper, they don't want to camp, what would you suggest there?
Well, like I said, Swift Current is only a 30-minute drive away, and they have all the amenities you could need. We also, located in Saskatchewan Landing Provincial Park, there's also the glamping area, so you can book that online. So you got a couple of options there.
And when is closing date usually for the Sask Landing golf course?
Well, because we face south and with our sandy soil, we're usually one of the first courses open, and the end of the season really depends on the weather, but we typically stay open into October. We always try to keep the course open as long as conditions allow. It's all very weather dependent.
Are there any special events throughout the summer or into the fall that public can take advantage of?
Yeah, for sure. We host a number of tournaments, special events. We have company events that book. We're always happy to welcome public play as well. We run men's league on Tuesdays and ladies on Thursdays, which is open to anyone. Our next big events will be the Ladies Hummingbird Classic on August 8th, which is our Ladies Scramble event. And then the CMX Smoke Show Mixed Scramble will be on August 22nd.
Right.
And then we have into September, we have our triathlon and stuff. So yeah, lots going on.
And then, you guys got a great website as well, sasklandinggolfresort.com. Well, Crystal, thank you so much for doing this today and shedding some light on the golf course. I think a lot of people have, like I said, driven by it or they've heard about it. And you now paint the picture. And when you go to the website, I think people will want to head out there and play. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks so much. Our new tagline is worth the drive, and we truly believe that.
Yeah. Crystal Imrie, thank you so much. sasklandinggolfresort.com. Go check it out. Rates, pictures, everything you need there. 30 minutes north of Swift Current, south of Kyle in Sask Landing. Thanks again to Cooper Tires and Flooring Superstore for their sponsorship of Prairie Golf Jams. It's a Sports Cage on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Some interesting news dropped on us before we went onto the old air here today. The Regina Red Sox have announced that they are parting ways with bench boss Ry Pothakos. Assistant coach Braden Cobb will assume field manager duties on an interim basis for the remainder of the 2026 Western Canadian Baseball League season. He's supposed to coach the All-Star game in Saskatoon this weekend, so don't know if he's still doing that. We're efforting. Our team is on it. Reports that the Riders are bringing in a pass rusher. It's not official. Riders haven't released it. Got the report from Arash Madani this morning. Derek Robertson, who's playing for DC in the UFL, he was an all-star there at the Open Championship this morning. A guy with white Pit Viper glasses named Lucas Herbert went off, and he leads at -8. Jackson Suber, Cameron Young are sitting at -6, as is Ryan Gerard. And then a bunch of guys are right in the hunt going into the weekend. Canadian Football League Week 7 starts tonight in Edmonton. We've been talking about it. BC Lions, Edmonton Elks, 7 p.m. kickoff our time. Western Canadian Baseball League, those Regina Red Sox host Lethbridge tonight. Moose Jaw Miller Express welcomes Energy City. Swift Current plays host to Fort Mac, and Weyburn welcomes the Brooks Bombers. Toronto Blue Jays are back in action in the major leagues, taking on the Chicago White Sox. 5:15 is supposed to be the first pitch. Sports Ticker is for Extreme Hockey and Sport, where they still have the Progressive Baseball sale on. Save 10% on your first item, 15% on your second, 20% on your third, and 25% on your fourth item and every item after that. Extreme Hockey and Sport score big savings right now on bats, gloves, helmets, training gear, and more. They are local. They support local under new management, McIntyre Street in Regina. This guy, I watched golf last night, Curtis, and so it starts at 11:30 our time, the coverage. So I'm watching it, and I know some people are like really ticked off because you're not being able to watch it here. Like, we tried to put it on when we got in here. It's like I don't know where it is.
Got to put on the Legacy Fighting channel instead.
Yeah, there's stuff going on in here. I think one guy's got a knife.
Ding ding ding.
He's this Lucas Herbert was they were talking records. He shot on the front nine. You don't golf, right? So it doesn't mean a lot to you. He shot 28 on the front nine, and it's a par 34. So it's 6 under.
Ooh.
On the front nine. Then he started the back nine, par birdie. So people are like, well, we might be in for a record here. But then he still finished 62, which is great. But I was the thing that I was watching, and I was like, he's got You know what people with pit vipers are?
I love pit vipers.
Man, those are cheesy. My son has them.
The big thing is they technically count as like safety glasses because they wrap around. So a lot of guys that work out on the rigs, they love them because it's PPE, but it's PPE that looks cool.
Lucas Herbert, maybe he is on 10 off from Fort Mac right now because they were white. They were white pit vipers. I was like, there's a good chance. There's a good chance this guy works on the rigs. Yeah, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. As for the Canadians, I know Corey Connors had a heck of a day. He's sitting at -2, so still in the hunt. He was -3 on the day. And then the other Canadian, Nick Taylor, is sitting at -1 as well. So both made the cut. Both are playing. And the cut was set at +1. Some interesting names that
when we were looking at the futures, what was Nick Taylor's line set at for winning it? It was something crazy. It was like 700 to 1, something like that.
Something like that. I have a mitt full of bets. A few ponies still in. Some of the notable names that have gone home: Aaron Rye, who just won a major. Matt Fitzpatrick, that I had him as one of my ponies to win. He's cut, going home on the weekend. Victor Hovland, he had bad pants on yesterday. Victor Hovland is going home. Michael Kim, maybe not a surprise. Daniel Berger, little bit of a surprise. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Who finished highest? Ren Yanazawa from Japan. He shot +9 today. Ooh. So he's on his way to a municipal golf course to peel somebody in a cash game on his way home. Okay, we're going to talk to Bri?
Yeah, I'll get him on the line right now.
Brian Raymond. We haven't talked to him. We didn't talk to him yesterday. I forgot. What a day to golf if you're out there. What a day. Parents, stay hydrated. There's a lot of fastball and baseball provincials going on around Saskatchewan. I mentioned I drove by 9th Avenue, the Regina girls fastball diamonds. Tons of parents with umbrellas staying in the shade. So looks like a lot of fun there. Brian Raymond, Flowing Springs Golf Course. We missed you yesterday, Brian. It's because you're so busy because the deals are too hot out at Flowing Springs.
And coinciding with the weather, yes, the deals are fantastic at Flowing Springs.
I talked to some people that actually played it today at 11:30. They were going out there, and I texted them after. They said it was great. It was a little hot, but they were in a cart, so they had a couple of cold ones on the day, but they were taking advantage. Now, the other thing we want to get through to people, the specials are available on the weekend.
Yes, we have our afternoon special, the early twilight, $40.50 to play at 3 o'clock or after 3 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, it's only $22.50 to come out and play. And carts are available because it is warm. And I also, some folks like to take a cart because it gets a little tight. But walking is still available. And, yeah, absolutely. And, of course, every Monday and every Wednesday, folks who are looking for playing next week, the weather looks fantastic. Monday and Wednesday, seniors and ladies play for $42. And, of course, the other specials go in every day, 7 days a week.
Okay, and Brian, we haven't talked about this much, though, but people that are thinking about maybe a staff outing or a family outing or any kind of gathering, give you a call for maybe that. I love playing it in September, late in the season. You can cater for tournaments still. I'm sure there's availability, and you can do the food and the whole works.
Yes, that's absolutely true. We have a really good staff there. We prepare meals for a lot of these tournaments, and you know what, you bring up a good point. We do a lot of groups where it's a business bringing out some clients or some staff who want to reward them. Small groups like 15, 25, 30 people. Absolutely, that's always welcome at the golf course.
Okay, Brian, best way to get a hold of everybody and take advantage of things at Flowing Springs.
We're still taking bookings for the weekend. Give us a call at 306-543-5050, and you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
Okay, Brian, have a great weekend. Stay cool.
Yeah, you too.
There you go. Brian Raymond, Flowing Springs Golf Course. Best value in the province to golf. That's what I say. Okay, Curtis, that's hour 2 in the books. We are going into hour 3. Luke, what are the odds he was in the pool this afternoon? Luc Mullinder is going to join us. We're going to talk to the first winner of the big prize of the Rider Scratch and Win tickets. Interesting story there. And then we're going to go back and hear more from Paul LaPolice from hour 1. It's a Sports Cage on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM. Welcome back to hour 3 of the Sports Cage going into the weekend for SaskToday.ca. Curtis has been with me. If you missed any of the program so far, we got you covered. Go back and listen to it in podcast form or watch it in podcast form on YouTube. It's brought to you by Freeze Tallman Lumber in Fort Qu'Appelle and Regina. More than a lumber yard. We got siding, decking, roofing. There's a window and door sale on right now. Delivery available to the home or cottage. Freeze Tallman Lumber. Back out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. That's my supper plans right there. Western Pizza tonight. And we said that there was a good chance, the odds were good that Luc Mullinder, it was paying 110 that he was in the swimming pool this afternoon because it's a perfect day to own a swimming pool. But Luke, when I look up on Google, the worst part about owning a pool is the relentless time-consuming maintenance and hidden costs. Pools require constant cleaning, chemical testing, and equipment care. If ignored, the water can quickly turn green and cost thousands to fix.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if you're a complete schlep and didn't know what you signed up for, obviously it's a lot of work. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I love doing it, man. It's the most relaxing thing ever. Me cleaning and maintaining my pool water and pool is the best thing for my mental health that I've ever done. Period. Skimming the pool, just making sure, man, I'm telling you, I changed my filters for the first time and I felt like I had built the pyramids of Egypt. I'm telling you what, and it's an easy job, but you know what, man, it's good. But you're right. You caught me right out of the pool. I'm sitting in front of one of the windows that looks over the pool, make sure the kids aren't drowning themselves. But,
you got a towel wrapped around. Out of the corner of my eye when you first came on, I thought you were wearing one of those old 8-ball jackets.
I was gonna go tarps off for Sports Cage listeners, but I didn't know what type of ratings we had on the radio show. So because I was actually gonna do it for my beach chair, but then I was like, well, Luther and his friends are being too loud, so can't do that.
Do you have a little diving board or no?
No. So listen to this. So. Michael Bumeshrik, we actually, so like, you know, I didn't always have when I built my pool, like before I had built the pool, we swam in Mike Abumeshrik's pool. And that's where Luther learned how to swim and stuff. But more importantly, Mike had a diving board and a deep end in his pool. And so when we built this pool, I remembered that whenever Mike had like a get together or a pool party or people over, everybody just crowded in this 1/3 of the pool, which was the shallow end. And very rarely did he. So I was like, when I built this, I was like 3 to 6 feet. So now everybody uses the whole pool. You know, the chances of kids drowning goes down by maybe 5% just because kids are stupid. You still got to watch them. But man, it's, you know, like it's awesome. It's a real social pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look at people. You're getting the knowledge here. If you're thinking about buying a pool.
My neighbor, shout out to Glenn. My neighbor, he's got a deep end. So if Luther really wants to dive, he just goes to the next door neighbor's pool.
Glenn, I'm going to do some dives. I'm going to do some schmitters.
Yeah, shout out to Glenn. Shout out to Glenn. He's the man.
Back-to-back neighbors. What a neighborhood you're rolling. And you know, the therapeutic thing, you got me there, though, because the one thing that I used to find was so therapeutic, just go outside all by myself, was flooding the kids' hockey rink in the backyard.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Yeah, it was...
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's just flooding the hockey rink in the summertime. It's awesome, man. Yeah.
So I
But I don't, hold on. But I don't, Barney, one thing I don't do, I don't actually clean the bottom of the pool. Like get all, like, you know, the vacuuming and stuff. I have a robot that does that. I throw a robot in, it cleans the bottom of the pool, sides of the pool. That's the one thing, because that's actually the manual labor part that nobody likes to do. That will get your pool dirty if you don't do that. So I bought a robot for that.
Yeah, it gets slimy and like slippery at the bottom. Yeah, you don't want that. Okay, I did this yesterday. We did this yesterday with Glenn Suter.
Okay.
The Buffalo at Yellowstone Park going. We're not making fun of the man. I
So
didn't.
great. I'm gonna.
I
That
would
guy's
have
an
done.
idiot.
I would have done the same thing that he did. I thought he played it well. If people haven't seen this before and you're not watching the stream, we're going to get Luc Mullinder to do color commentary of Buffalo flipping.
All right, let's do it.
Here okay, Curtis,
So hold on.
tape.
So, all right, folks. So I'm assuming Dave has just called this play. Like I'm just sort of taking over for Dave.
Yep.
All right, there we go. All right, guys. So listen, what the Bisons do here is they run the F around and find out play. Okay. So, you've got these idiots here that have gotten out of their car. And see, this is where the Bisons set it up, right? They get dirty. They throw a bunch of dust around to make it look like they're just warning. But see, this is the best part of the play. So then it kind of, the Bison just heads over there to do a check. Now, this is where the play works, guys. All right. This dummy is using the tree as protection. This is a terrible offensive strategy. Now watch this. Now watch the technique here, guys. All right, the guy's hiding. Now they work on this every week. Every week in practice, the Bison works on this neck movement in order to get these guys in the air. All right, because that's where the technique pays off. And boom, look at this, right in the air, 8 feet. And I tell you what, guys, the Bisons train all off season for this neck muscle deal, right? Okay, so they line up. They're literally training all off season just on that neck movement alone. Because in order for the play to be successful, guys, you've got to be able to lift. I mean, this guy's 8 feet up in the air. And by the way, he's not a light guy. This isn't Weston Dressler, folks. This is a lineman that's being escorted 8 feet up in the air. So it's great technique. I love the play call at that time because again, if you're going to disobey the rules in Yellowstone and get out of your car, that's when the Bison should be doing that play, right? The Wolves do the same thing, but the Wolves it's a worse outcome. The Wolves there's blood everywhere, right? And you're just gone, right? So the Bisons, this is a really responsible play, right? They send their one guy in, right? They eject him 8 feet up, and then the rest of the crew, guys, the next play, they're waiting on the next play. They're just grazing. I'll tell you what, man, the F around and find out play is probably one of the most effective play calls when you've got stupid tourists that don't read the instructions when it comes to the car.
Does old man Marley there rest on his laurels a little bit, Luke?
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? That's why the F around and find out play is effective because normally the people that they do it on are those idiots that don't work out, that just think that the world is their oyster, right? And just think they can do whatever they want. Normally, these people don't have any physical attributes about them, right? And that's what creates the buoyancy to lift them up in the air. They have very little muscle, right? They don't have a lot of brain cells, so the internal weight behind them is actually not that much. So these Bison, they just go all off season waiting for this neck move, and it's just executed. I'll tell you what, man, Dave. If I was the Bison coach, they're gonna watch that in film tomorrow, Dave. They're gonna watch that in film, and it's gonna be a great film moment.
Oh, there it is. There it is. The breakdown. I didn't think it was that bad of a move. I thought the Bison did play it well. But okay, let's move on. Oh, that was great. Edmonton, BC tonight. What bigger game for Edmonton to kind of we got to beat BC here. We think we're a good team in the West, or BC saying, we got to start putting some wins together here because the West is going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, well, you're kind of in that situation where the first 6 weeks are gone, and nothing's really. You got to remember, I mean, BC in 2011, I think they start out 1-9 and still won the Grey Cup, right? So there's plenty of time. It's just there's a little bit of sense of urgency on just making sure, not necessarily getting the wins right now, just making sure you guys are playing together. So I think that BC now, right, you get your first win out of the way, you feel good, and then you can harness like everything that you see on film now is actually a winning play versus a good play and a loss, right? So now you're like, okay, this is well executed. It's like the Bison we just watched, right? Like there you see yourself executing, and now you're executing and you're contributing to a win. You're not just executing a play and you're on a losing squad. So it's a different feeling altogether. I would expect it to be a good game. I kind of hope Edmonton wins though, because I want Edmonton and Saskatchewan to be everything that I'm imagining it right now next week.
That's a good point.
I don't want a redemption story for Edmonton next week.
Okay.
I want Edmonton coming off a high, playing their best football, and the Riders coming off a bye. That's what's gonna make the cash registers sing.
Philpott or Rankin? Who would be your MOP right now?
Philpott or Rankin? Alexander Davis. Yeah, or Cody Fajardo. Like, I think those guys are playing at a high level. I think Philpott's playing at a high level, but like, man, he wouldn't be getting the ball if it wasn't for Alexander Davis, right? Davis Alexander. I'm mixing them. That's what you get for having two first names.
It's the French.
You got two first names, and that's what happens.
It's the French box. It's backwards.
Dude, I knew this guy named what was his name? It was like Gary Robert, right? Like Gary, those are two first names, and he wondered why everybody was confusing him. It's because. So you got Davis Alexander, I think he's playing at, but between the two, I think Rankin would be the guy next. He is awesome. That guy is one of the better all-around football players in our league right now. He is a threat every single play, every single sort of inch of the field. And the best part about Rankin is they have another starter behind Rankin. So it's not as if Rankin's going to be exhausted. Like, you can keep both of those really good running backs fresh. And man, does it ever pay off. Montreal's got the same sort of system. They got two really good running backs, Tice and the first guy they roll out there. Like, those two teams right now have one of the best, probably the best 1-2 back combos in the leagues. And that's why they're at the top of their divisions.
Javon Leak, yeah. They can spell him off.
Leak's unreal. Leak is unreal. Like, and that's the best part. You've got Rankin and you're like exhausted because you fight and you keep him to a first down or a big play, and then Leak comes on fresh as a daisy with his like 4-1 speed. It's that offense, boy. It's hard. It's hard to stop. That's why it's set up. That's why Cody's playing so well too. He knows Cody knows that he's got two weapons that keep the linebackers low anytime he looks like he's going to hand the ball off, right? Like, clears up throwing space for him. Edmonton's got a real good thing going there.
Over under, it's set at 60.5 tonight. I just hit the over. I'm going to stop at the Lotto Spot retailer and take the over as well. Where would you go tonight on that?
Where's the game being played?
Edmonton. Weather's perfect.
In Edmonton? Under 60.
Okay. Curtis likes
like close to it though, like 58. I'm talking about like 58 in a Rouge, like 59. So it's going to be like a nail biter, right? I took the under last week with the Riders, and I was getting mad at like the garbage points that were getting scored. I remember I texted you, Barney. I'm like, man, somebody better just end this game. I don't want to see another garbage point scored. But oh well.
We gotta like back up the podcast here, because I literally said like the first hour it's gonna be 58 points. We're on like the same wavelength there, and I hit the under. So
go for it. You need to go over for a swim, Curtis.
C2, that's not going to work. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get on the same page as me so you can have your first name back, but it's not going to work. You're going to be C2 forever. Nice try.
Hey, there's rumors, or there's a report that the Riders are bringing in a pass rusher and a Derek Robertson, who was a UFL All-Star, just finished playing with DC. If those reports are true, beneficial, because is that one thing the Riders are missing right now, is a little bit on that pass rush?
Oh, the Riders are developing nicely. I mean, you always want more players, right? And more pass rushers, especially. You got to guard against injury. But right now, that first defensive line that we got going, and Pate now adding to that, being like Pate and Jalen and Desmond Evans being able to play end and tackle. Like right now, that group is gelling. That first five, not just the first four, that first 5 or 6 guys, they're really coming together. So I wouldn't mess with that chemistry they're building. But I always listen. You always want to push guys, right? Make sure guys know that it's a business and there's always somebody behind you, and you always need pass rushers for injury. So, yeah, it's a guy, I don't know much about the guy, right? I'm a CFL guy. I'm not a UFL guy. So I'm a CFL, NFL guy. I don't have time for another sport, another football, unless it's flag football on Luther's team.
And it hasn't been published by the Riders yet, so it's just reports.
Oh, okay.
That's the case.
Yeah. Those guys. They're using their athleticism well. They're gelling, like in terms of their games that they run. Like when the defensive tackles loops around and defensive end, right. The way they run their games, they're really coming along with that. Like they're gelling. I would let them keep rolling as a group for sure.
If you had to ask, if you were on another sports talk show, which sometimes you are, from around the country, and they said, explain Jackson Ford to us, this guy that keeps stopping people on third down. How would you explain him, Luke?
How would I explain Jackson Ford? I would say that Jackson Ford is a throwback, a mix between Scotty Gordon, and someone fast. I'm thinking Tristan Clovis. But I think that his IQ has developed to the point now where he's seeing the field really well. He understands his position. I love the physicality that he plays with. I mean, he's been a stud on their short yardage formation. I think that I can't say enough good things about Jackson Ford. And I'm a massive Nelson Lacombo fan too. Like, I love having Nelson Lacombo and Jackson Ford be interchangeable in that defense and be out there, but he's having a heck of a season, man. He should be proud of himself. But, I think that with Jackson Ford, the mission now is just to continue building, right? Look at the film. You got to look at it with a really keen eye. Continue to do the positive things you're doing, but like, you got to really fight to find out what you can do better when you're on a high like that. And I'm sure that, he's getting a lot of shoulder rubs from the guys in the locker room, and he deserves it. He's playing great. So, yeah, man, I remember Scotty Gordon. He was never, Scotty Gordon, Jamie Borum, because Jamie Borum was more physical than a lot of the guys that weren't punters, right? Jamie Borden, yeah. And someone fast that I played with. I can't remember if Tristan Clovis was that fast, but yeah, like I love his physicality, man, and he sees the game well now. Sky's the limit.
What are you thinking when Josh Woods is taking that back? I know a guy that had an anytime rider defensive touchdown, so he's running up and down the Craven Country Motor Inn. But how are you calling this one here? What are you thinking?
It's not about the return. He gets in the end zone. I just can't believe the amount of energy he has after the play. Like, he gets in the end zone, he celebrates, and then he just, look at him, like he's full of energy. So let me tell you something. 80% of the guys on the field, if they took that for that long, they'd need the air machine right away. They'd have to get on the air, right? As soon as they get over, give me the air machine. And I'm sitting here for like this guy's fresh as a daisy, man. He could have ran a play right after that. I was amazed at just the stamina and his ability and his cardio, because he's ready to do another play like right after. I'd be exhausted. You wouldn't be able to get me on the field for another 4 plays, right?
What was the most impressive thing for you in that game for the Riders?
I've said it a lot. I said it right after the game. The most impressive thing about that victory was in recent years, a team with a backup quarterback and a lot of holes to fill would come into Regina and give the Riders a real tough game. Like, they might win, or they'd at least and everybody would be like, oh, it was a trap game, right? Like, in years past, that's what the Riders were set up here. What I loved about that is it was just a dominating effort.
Yeah.
They came in limping, and the Riders stepped on their throat. I loved it. It's not one like, and that's what you get when you win championships. That's what you get when your roster, the majority of the roster was together last year winning a championship. They understand now. And a limp and a duck with a broken wing, that tastes just as good on the grill as one that was flying, right? So put it on the grill. And I think that the dominating way that they went about that was awesome. That's what I want to. That is a championship caliber, championship mentality team, and it's going to serve them well moving into to the rest of the season.
It looks like 29, maybe 30 degrees on Thursday. The long-term forecast here. It was 50 on the field. And if anyone's ever been on that field down in Mosaic, that's how it gets. It gets really hot. For that, what's
50 in the broadcast booth?
Did you get the door? Did you get the window shut? Did that worked out for you?
Listen, I came in like a lawyer. I was ready to plead the case to make sure those broadcast booth doors stayed closed. And I was very fortunate that I didn't have to pull out the actual 35-page document that I had prepared in order to keep the broadcast booth closed. We all agreed to keep the booth closed. It was a responsible team effort. But it wasn't hot. So all those folks that were texting me on the sunny side, I was laughing.
Okay, last question. What's the hottest game you remember playing in? Maybe it was a college game. I don't know. Maybe it was a CFL. Like
You know what? I think it was one of the Labor Day games. I can't remember which year, but I remember one of the Labor Day games was extremely hot, and we won it, obviously. But I just remember, yeah, because it was funny.
Early 2000s?
Yeah, for sure. And it was just, I just remember Labor Day being just a scorcher.
I was there.
Where which year was? I don't remember what year that was.
I can't put my finger on, but it was in the wood stands on the north end zone, back sweat, big cargo shorts, sweating, drinking beer. Double fist.
Man.
Double fist guy.
Double fist guy? Yeah, those 5'8" guys, they can hold their alcohol, boy. I tell you what.
Well, I got to pick up Junior at like 8:00, so I got a 2-hour window that I'm not doing anything. I don't know if you're doing anything, but
come by the pool, man. I'll text you my address. Come by the pool. I'm gonna have smokies on and everything. My buddy Tyler's about to come over here. Yeah, come on by. Like everybody always says, well, why don't you invite me to the pool? Yeah, I'll tell you what. Everybody's more than welcome to come over. I just, man, like my phone is not attached to my hip when I'm sitting on my beach chair. You know what I mean? Like I'm not thinking about, oh, you know what? It would be really nice to see so and so. No, just come by.
Maybe I'll stop at Giant Tiger, grab some new trunks, and then do that up. I don't know.
Well, no, you're not that tall, so you could probably fit my son's ones.
Yeah, good finish. Okay, if not, we'll see you tomorrow night. We'll have a good time. If you want to do something after tomorrow night, there's a cabaret. I got a bunch of tickets. If you're wearing cowboy boots and stuff.
Cabaret. Come on now, man. You knew what I was going to say to that before you even said that out loud. Cabaret.
Okay.
Cadbury chocolate, maybe. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. There he is, our football analyst on the Rough Rider broadcast crew, Luc Mullinder, going back into the pool. That call on the Bison. You might need to post that. And he said he's making fun of him. I didn't want to make fun of the old man. That was a good call. He did good work there. It's a Sports Cage streaming through our YouTube channel, sportscage.com.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Interesting news out of the Western Canadian Baseball League with the Regina Red Sox. They announced today that the club has parted ways with field manager Ry Pathakos. Braden Cobb going to take over for the remainder of the year. They are in action tonight. Lethbridge is in town. Elsewhere in the league, Moose Jaw hosting Energy City. Swifty plays host to Fort Mac, and Weyburn welcomes the Brooks Bombers. CFL Week 7 starts today. BC Lions, Edmonton Elks, 7 p.m. The Blue Jays are back playing baseball tonight. They are in Chicago to take on the White Sox. That's actually getting started right away. Lucas Herbert leads the Open going into the weekend, -8. Top Canadian Corey Connor sitting at -2. Nick Taylor is sitting at -1. Sports Ticker for Steelcraft Doors in Regina, Saskatoon, and Prince Albert, covering all of Saskatchewan. Made in Western Canada for Western Canadians. Mark Kuelen's joining us here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. An interesting guest, because Mark was the first winner of one of the major prizes in the Rider Nation Scratch ticket. All right, Mark, first off, tell people, where are you from? Where did you buy the ticket? When did you buy the ticket?
Well, I live in Regina in the Uplands area. And I bought the ticket on Broad and 9th at Northland Confectionery, where I always get my Lotto Max tickets. And then the fellow there told me to try these Rider Nation ones because it's right for the province. And so I started buying those. And then I'd win a $7 free ticket every once in a while. Oh. And then one day I won $50, and I was very happy about winning $50 because I never win nothing ever. And I bought another ticket, and I was in the morning, and at 8 o'clock at night, I thought, hey, I got this ticket. I should check it out. So I proceeded to scratch the new ticket, and I kind of couldn't believe my eyes, so I put my reading glasses on, and no, that can't be right. So I got a magnifying glass and checked it over about 7 times, and sure enough, I won. I matched the 5 symbols in the ticket and won the $75,000, and I went down to the confectionery, and the normal fellow Sanjay wasn't there, but one of his helpers was, but as soon as they check the ticket, I guess it shuts down all their systems that they can't sell any more tickets or do whatever. So the young fella called the owner of the business, and he walked me through it on FaceTime of what to do. So I went back in the next morning to see him, and and the rest is history, I guess. He got everything going and called
nice
lotto people, and yeah,
right.
Exciting.
Right on. Like, do you buy a lot of scratch tickets? Are you a scratch ticket guy?
No, these are actually the first ones, in probably 10 years that I bought.
And you said kind of the reason was just because of the local angle, the riders, the sport, culture, recreation, and just that side of it. Yeah,
and he was really good at pushing them, and he said it's distinct to our province, and it's for the riders, and kind of a rider fan. So I thought, I'll try those, and never really expected to win anything more than a free ticket here and there, but it worked out good.
What I got to ask you, is some of it's probably spent already? Do you have the money earmarked? Any big purchases?
Well, a lot of it's gone. I thought I'd pay my one daughter's vehicle off, and then because I did that, you got to do the same for the other ones. So she's planning on some trips, one to Argentina and one to Ireland. She's got friends there, and so give them money. And then my mother out in Duvel, her shingles are gone, so I thought, you know what, do the shingles. So yeah, about $50,000 is gone, and so I get 25 of it. So that's still nice. That
is good. Did Sanjay get anything?
I actually gave him some money, yes.
Oh, geez, that is really nice. Are you still playing? Because that's the first of the big ones to go, from what I understand. Are you still playing it?
Yeah, I've got another one in front of me here that I bought the other day that I won $7. So I guess when I go there next, I'll get another one with my $7 winning ticket, and maybe we'll get something else. But probably lightning won't strike twice. But it's if it helps, whatever, that's good.
And you said you're a Rider fan. Do you go to the games?
I went on Sunday to that nice hot game, and the one 2 weeks before. And
what are you thinking?
I don't go to every game, no.
What are you thinking about the team so far this year, Mark?
They're doing very well, And well, the other thing that Logan Furland plays for the Riders. He is my one friend's neighbor, and he just lives behind me on the bay, Logan does, and he's a hell of a nice young guy. When they won the Grey Cup, he brought it over to Kevin's house, and we got to take pictures with the Grey Cup. And yeah, he's just, like I said, he's a wonderful young guy. I talked to him this morning and told him that I won. I seen him walking when I was walking the dog, and That's great. Mark, thanks so much for coming on, sharing the story. Congratulations. Good, lot of good karma going around for you as well. And hey, wouldn't that be something, Mark, if I call you again and you win another one of the big prizes that are still out there? Well, it would be really nice, but it'd be really nice, I guess, if somebody else could get it as well. And I don't want to be greedy.
Thanks for doing this today, Mark.
All right. Take care.
Get out there. If you want, there's still the big prizes, a lot of big prizes still in those Rider Scratch tickets out of your Lotto Spot retailers. It's a SportsCage on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM, and also streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.